What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Thunder, would you call me his favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Masterpiece Takara Tomy Thundercracker versus Hasbro's Thundercracker. The Takara one does come with another driver. He's orange, he's translucent, he's equally as dumb and equally as useless. I can't remember if the Hasbro one did or didn't, but he probably did because it's equally as useless and equally as forgettable. So let's just move on. First thing we'll notice is that the blue for the Takara one is much more accurate to the cartoon. So that stands out. There's also a silver paint finish here, and this is gray plastic over here. The orange for the canopy looks much more appropriate here than the yellow does here. And feet wise, there's an extra paint application here that isn't here. There's also this blue flap at the waist that they chose to go gray. I think the gray is a better choice personally, but they didn't do that. Make sure I got everything there. We also have silver paint on the blasters here, the null rays, and the white and the red here look much more vibrant on the wings than the Hasbro one, just in person. There's also like a red paint application. Let's raise it back up. There's a red paint application on the shoulders that's not here, and in there inside there, which is not there. To be fair. Backs, the Hasbro one has the toy tampered paint. I could have done without that, as well as the reflector is painted there on the shoulder, which I never quite understood either. And then the sonic boom, which looks cool, but you know, wasn't necessary. I think that the Takara paint apps, with their issues, were much more appropriate to the character than what Hasbro decided to do. Instead of doing all those little fine details of paint and tamper paint, I would have much rather have seen a finish on there or something along those lines. Face sculpts are identical, and the articulation works the same on both. I will say the joint has a little bit more tension here, so it does work a bit better. Looking at the Hasbro shoulders, got the ratchet swivel, and then the outward universal. We're going to talk about this because this is like a hot topic right now, right? But we have the sprue cuts there on the Hasbro one. Bicep swivel, and then double jointed elbow works fine per usual. Wrist swivel, and then the fingers are articulated as we've come to know them, with the ball peg for the thumb, ball peg at the base knuckle for those. For the index finger, and then the last 3 digits, and then the single hinge at the second knuckle. So we'll go ahead and look at the Takara one in that regard. Mine has a tendency to want to, like the ratchet wants to pull these bits forward more, whereas the Hasbro one does stay still a lot more. This one does not stay together as well. On either side. So, worth noting. And then we have the same movement there, obviously. Have the same sprue cuts. They're a little bit more obvious because the plastic is a bit lighter. But they're on both sides. Double jointed elbow. The joint is better. There's more tension on both sides here, and then wrist. Everything else feels pretty much the same. The joints in general are a little stiffer, but then as we see, it's a little too stiff here, and we have all sorts of paint smudges along in there. I'll go ahead and point them out in case you can't see them because it's just too bright. But it's here, there, which is actually really bad. That looks like a chip of the plastic itself. There, all along the seams here, there. So that is an issue. Won't notice it on a shelf, but it is an issue. Also, this paint on top of the blue, like, it doesn't cover the whole thing. So, if you can see that in there, the blue does. I find this actually more distracting than the nicks along here. Alright, and then for the waist, oh, also I have floppy wing syndrome a bit here. With it not wanting to stay pegged in. There doesn't seem to be a paint finish on this blue. So I think that is just going to be how she rolls. Hip skirts. Let's see. We're good there. Ratcheted. Same as before. Thigh swivel. Tight ratcheted knees. Really tight. So those all feel good. Here, the joints are all much looser, and the ratchets. But you know, this actually feels better. This ratchet feels better tolerance. I must say, the Hasbro one. Get these big. I hate stuff like this. I mean, I hear you, but I just don't care for it. It's pretty obvious, no? But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on there. His midsection tends to slide a bit more than his does. His actually holds together quite nicely. My last two, the Starscream and the Skywarp, both slid on me much more than this guy does. So that is a nice added bonus, which I'm not used to necessarily seeing from Takara with the Seeker mold. But yeah, in robot mode, I think that that is frustrating. I think that the biggest difference here is the striking difference is the color in blue. This one does look a lot better in person. Now, another problem is they did the blue along the translucent plastic, and that looks terrible. Terrible. Really bad. More so at the top, probably from when they put it together. The stress just probably cracked, like the piece was probably painted and then put on, and when they put it in there, it caused those cracks. This one has the same issues. It's funny. I didn't notice it before, but I definitely noticed it now. And this one's not even painted all the way up to the top. So that's actually done better here. It just could have used another coat. But why put another coat on? You know? You got up and tied your shoes this morning. I'd do it right. So there the Takara one is, with the Takara Starscream and Skywarp. And that does feel pretty bloody good. Alright, and then we'll swap out. And, you know, I gotta admit, he doesn't look as good. He really doesn't. It does look better with the new one. I don't know if it's $200 better, but it's better. And there he is with some other Thundercrackers. This Raptor one was given to me by John Garinger, so I'm going to be taking a look at him. I just haven't had the time to yet. But the G1 and the Classics and the eye gear, and then the two masterpieces. And there they are in alt mode. And as you can see, you got two extra paint apps here that you don't have there, except you have this bit painted, which you don't have here. The G1 stuff shows a little bit better here than there, but I don't really care for that. You get the tampered Decept symbol here, nothing there. And this, I think the Decepticon symbols there are a bit bigger, and then the wing design pattern is different. I feel like this is more G1 accurate cartoon, and that's more toy. So maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that was the plan all along. I don't know. It's interesting because that might be why I feel like both of them kind of feel right. I'm going to weigh them real quick to see how they do weight-wise. So 0.714 pounds. 0.714 pounds. So I would imagine all the die cast is the same, and then the ratio to plastic is the same, which is reassuring. And let's see what else. There was something else. Oh, that's painted. The cockpit, the seat inside is painted. I don't believe it is here. But this has a lot more stylings along like the CPT, Dragon, SASS, and all that kind of stuff. And, the Joe Big Daddy, you know, all that, the D24, all that stuff, and this doesn't. So I really feel like, you know, they were taking a little bit more of the license, like the artistic license, the reflector painted on there and whatnot. So there they are in jet mode, the 3 Hasbro ones. You know, I think this is going to be one of those situations where both of these are going to look fine. We'll swap them out for the sake of swapping them out. Yeah, it still looks better to me. God, I hate to say that. So look, there's nothing new here, and to make your decision, it really comes down to your connection to this character and how you want your shelf to look. There's nothing wrong with this guy, okay? So there's no real need to update to this guy unless you really want these colors, and these colors are really good, and they look really right. So if you want that, then by all means go for it. There's a lot of complaints going around about this guy, about like the sprue marks and so forth, and like, look, like, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but this is nothing new, okay? Like, this isn't different. Maybe you're just growing and seeing things you hadn't noticed before, but like the same sprue marks that are here and over there and then down, like on this part and stuff, like, yes, they're unsightly, and yes, they suck. But, you know, the Hasbro one has them too. It's the same places. It's just where they come off the sprue. These actually look worse because it's not painted, so there's nothing to cover them up. They're on the shoulders. And guess what? The Takara has them. The older Takaras had them as well. Here's the same sprue marks. They're covered up by paint a bit here just because of the stripe design, but it's definitely there. There's one on the wing. There's one on the other wing. They're down there as well. So, like, this is, like, I don't know. I feel like, well, we'll get to it. But here they both are on the Takara Starscream. There's one on the wing. There's another one on the wing. There they both are on the leg. That one's particularly bad. It's always been this way. I think that people are just getting fed up with this price. And I hear you. You know, like, I hear you. Like, the only thing good about this is that it's finally over, right? Oh, pain is finally over. I can finally get back to normal life. Takara Masterpiece Ramjet. Son of a... But I'm in your corner. You know, I understand the frustration. But don't let any of these complaints that you're hearing about sway you if you've never had a problem with them in the past. If you're going to say to yourself, look, I finally had it with paying $200 for this mold. It's the 38th time they've used this mold or whatever, and I'm not paying $200. Then by all means, God bless you. I get it. Stick by your guns, Mac. I'm behind you. But if you're trying to use these new complaints to cover up why you don't want to spend $200, just stop, because they've been there the whole time. Just say you don't want to pay $200 for a mold that you can get in America for $60. You know, because I get that. And it's not that I don't agree with everybody that these complaints are there, because they are. But they should have bothered you equally along the way. I think that people are just tired of spending this amount of money for this mold, and they want something new, but it's not. It's a repaint. So you're going to get the same thing you've always gotten. Now, I've seen stuff out there where, like, thumbs are missing and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, check them like a newborn baby. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you've got all the pieces, by all means. That's a totally different conversation. But most of the time, most of the complaints that I'm seeing are about the sprue marks. They're about the, like, the paint mishaps. You know, unfortunately, the paint is there to try to help. Well, I'm not going to say it's there to try to help the sprue marks, but it does help the sprue marks. They would look worse without the paint. The paint imperfections that are on mine, now I've seen some bad ones out there. Shout out to Lowry. If you're in the Facebook stuff, you know who Lowry is. He's in all the groups. He has some really bad paint. I think that his was exceptionally bad, but most of the ones that I've seen have been moderate. And, like, while it's there, and I do agree, and I feel like something should be done about it, especially for $200. I'm with you, okay? You'll never notice it. you'll never ever notice it. Like, I got to get right up on mine to notice it. The sprue marks, you're going to notice them from a mile away, but that's, you know, that's that light blue plastic. It's just the way it stresses when it gets clipped. Should it have been sanded down or touched up? Maybe. You know, but touched up paint on something like this may not look right either. You know, so I don't know what to tell you. I think that if you love the mold and you love the character and you want this G1 representation of the character, you're going to be perfectly happy with the Takara release of him. Perfect? Not a chance. Expensive? Hell yes. But content, happy, I think you'll be. It's my little Yoda talk for you today. Other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, and I hope this helped you make a choice.